How to file a complaint at the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario. The Ontario Human Rights Code is a provincial law that recognizes the dignity and worth of every person. The code gives every person the right to equal treatment and equal opportunities in 5 areas, known as social areas: employment, housing, goods, services, and facilities, contracts, membership in trade and vocational associations, such as unions. The Code protects the people of Ontario from being discriminated against or harassed on any of the following grounds: race, color, ancestry, place of origin, citizenship, ethnic origin, disability, creed, sex, including sexual harassment, pregnancy and gender identity, sexual orientation, gender expression, age, family status, marital status, receipt of public assistance, record of offenses. The Code also protects against discrimination because of association. This is when someone has a relationship, association, or other dealings with people who are identified by one of the grounds previously listed. Reprisal or threats of reprisal. This is when someone has claimed rights or taken part in a proceeding under the Code, or when someone has refused to violate someone else's human rights. Reprisal or threats of reprisal for rejecting a sexual solicitation. Sexual solicitation or advances by a person who is in a position to give or deny a benefit, such as a manager or supervisor, or a doctor, to a nurse. If you believe you have been treated unequally because of a ground under the Code, you can make a complaint by filing an application with the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal. Remember, the Code is remedial. It is here to help you. It is not meant to punish. It is meant to remove discrimination and prevent it by educating the public and creating awareness. If the tribunal finds that your rights were violated, it can order monetary compensation. This means the other party pays you for the money you lost because of the unequal treatment, or for injury to your feelings, dignity, and self-respect, which may include interest. A specific remedy which would put you in the position you would have been in if you had not been discriminated against under the Human Rights Code. Or a public interest remedy, such as training or a policy change by the person or organization, which will help prevent the same thing from happening in the future. To make a complaint, fill out an application form and a supplementary form related to your type of complaint. The forms are online at the website www.hrto.ca. Or you can contact the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario for a copy of the forms you need to complete. After you fill out the form, you can submit it electronically or send it directly to the tribunal. Before starting, check that your complaint is covered by the Ontario Human Rights Code. While you have been treated differently because of protected grounds, you may not be able to file an application at the tribunal. These situations include: 1. Code exemptions. The Code allows people to be treated differently in certain situations. To find out if your situation falls into an exception, contact the Human Rights Legal Support Center. 2. A court action. In most cases, you cannot make a complaint to the Human Rights Tribunal if you have already started a court action based on the same facts, and if you are asking the court for a remedy for the human rights violation. You can make an application if you withdraw your court claim. 3. Same facts in another process. In cases where your complaint is part of another proceeding, but not a court action, like employment standards, You can file a complaint at the Human Rights Tribunal, but the Human Rights Tribunal may defer your application or hold it until the other proceeding has taken place. Or the Human Rights Tribunal may dismiss your application if it believes the other proceeding dealt with the human rights complaint. 4. Same complaints filed again. You cannot make a complaint based on the same facts as a previous complaint. 5. Time limit. In most cases, you must file your application within 1 year of when the last event of discrimination or harassment occurred. If you have a good reason for filing late, such as being in the hospital or in jail, or not finding out about the discrimination until more than a year has passed, the tribunal may extend your deadline. 6. No jurisdiction. The Human Rights Tribunal may not have jurisdiction over a party. For example, if an employer or company is not provincially regulated. Before you complete your application form and supplementary form, read the Human Rights Tribunal Applicant's Guide, available at www.hrto.ca, or by request from the Human Rights Tribunal. This guide provides step-by-step instructions for completing the different sections of your application form. Filling out the application. Tell the tribunal about the person or organization you are complaining about. Provide the name or names of the person and the organization, contact information, the type of behavior you are complaining about, details of what you are complaining about, who, what, where, when, how, what happened, how it affected you, and the remedy you are asking for from the Human Rights Tribunal. Is mediation an option? Say if you are willing to try mediation, which is a less formal dispute resolution process. In mediation, the parties meet to talk about the application and to try to create a solution that everyone can accept. Mediation is voluntary, and if you can't find an agreement for all of your issues in mediation, you can still ask for the tribunal to hear your case. Other actions or proceedings. Fill in on the form if you have started a court action, whether you have filed a complaint with the Human Rights Tribunal before that is based on the same facts, and whether there have been any other proceedings based on the same facts. If there are other proceedings, you need to submit documents related to those proceedings with your application form. Documents. List documents related to your complaint. These are documents you have, documents the person or organization you are complaining about has, or important documents that someone else may have. You do not have to attach the documents with your application form. The tribunal will tell you when to submit the documents. List of names. List the names of people who have information related to your application. Tell the tribunal why their information is important for your complaint. This information is confidential and will not be sent to the person or organization you are complaining about. Any other information. Include any other information that the tribunal should know, such as if the respondent has had other claims filed against them on the same issues. Carefully review before submitting. When you have completed the application form and the supplementary form, and attached all the documents, carefully read the rest of the form before you sign and submit your application. Urgent application? If you need to rush your application, you can also fill out a Form 14 with your application. You can find a copy of Form 14 at www.hrto.ca or by contacting the tribunal. Next steps. The tribunal will assign a file number. Make sure you use this number for all communications with the tribunal. When the tribunal receives your application, it will tell you the following: if more information is needed to complete your application, if it should postpone your application for any reason, if it does not have the power to deal with your application, or if your application is accepted. If you disagree with the tribunal's decision to postpone or dismiss your application, you can tell the tribunal why you believe your application should still be heard. The tribunal will tell you the next steps you should take.